huge card on slate today.
15-game card. It's us versus the bookies. Bases loaded, high noon. It's going to be a showdown.
On a suddenly not so casual Friday, the buy hat is engaged. Will Gerrit Cole dominate tonight in Detroit? Will the Red Sox continue a season-long slumber at the Rockies? Find out right now. It is MLB Bases Loaded, the Monday show, the first Monday of the summer, June the 22nd, 2026. I am the Shark. He is Mikey Money. Mike, what's going on this morning, brother?
Man, oh man, good call there. Summer solstice is here. The dog days, as they say, are the pay days, though, man, because we have data, we have stats, we have trends, we have angles, we have mature information to help us get to the window with winning tickets. And man, oh man, it was a weekend of Weekend Shark. I told you, man, I was going to talk on it for a minute out there, but damn, if them Rangers could have covered that run line yesterday, I would have swept the MLB board yesterday. We hit our golden ticket. The golden ticket was back on Saturday. It was a huge UFC show, man. I'm fired up. I feel like we're seeing the board very clearly, and that makes us dangerous men when it comes to the bookman.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I like to say on a suddenly not so casual Monday, it couldn't be more of that. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the summer of 2026. I am beyond fired up. We are hot. We are staying hot. And it really is the beginning of a great day. If you guys are in the chat, if you guys are on the East Coast, it's lunch hour. Come hang out with us. Talk to us. If you're on the West Coast, get some coffee. And let's get down to business. All evening games on tonight's card. Let's go straight to Detroit and open up a beautiful conversation. First game on the card, Yankees-Tigers, opening up a early week series. Gerrit Cole at Framber Valdez. Said it in the intro, will Cole dominate? Mike, we're not going to wait around. Will he dominate tonight?
Yeah, I think this is a good Yankee spot just from a price tag perspective. You know, how often are you going to get what, you know, I know he's not what he used to be, but look at, he's 5 starts in. I talked about his AAA rehab assignment. He's been looking fairly decent. And, you know, with all that being said, with old man time, that's all you can really ask for out there. So now you add in that you're catching these guys at $130. He gave you 6 good innings last game out there, just 1 home run. And only 2 walks. So, you know, look, he's hitting that K to inning ratio that we look for in the Major League Baseball squad. So the question becomes, in a lower scoring team like the Tigers, do they have enough to come out there and show their stuff? I don't think so. Gerrit Cole against the AL Central has been knocked down, drag out over 11 seasons. In fact, 9-1 his last 10. He's cashed back-to-back spots. He's 82% winning against the American League Central. So good enough for me, especially after seeing some of these Yankee bats out there. Yesterday, they were able to toss one out to the Reds. You know, there's something I did want to comment on as well, because we talk about the Yankees tax, and it drove me to a reminder of yesterday, Shark, and it was a conversation I was having with a friend about, well, the Yankees, and looking at the number and seeing that the first 5 for the Reds was minus 140, and the full game for the Reds was like plus 105. And you were on the Reds, and you laid the alternate run line with the Reds, which I sent you a tweet there. I said, great job with the alternate run line there. Here's the deal. Sometimes when you look at those numbers, it's not that the books are telling you the bullpen's going to choke. You have to look at some of these batters. You have to look at some of these ratios. You have to look at it and say, there's a lot of star power that can smack that ball out of the yard. And it's not about the bullpen imploding. It's about giving the star players more at-bats, and offensively they can go out there and smash. And so maybe there was a little asterisk on that Reds game yesterday because it wasn't about the bullpen imploding. And if anything, we saw the bullpen came out there and knocked them down. The reality was that you give them Yankee bats more time. I know there's no Judge in the lineup, but you get some of them other factors. Benny Rice goes out there. You got Goldschmidt. I mean, these guys have a track record of success. 4 at-bats, maybe they go 250. 2 at-bats, maybe they go 0. So it's not about the bullpen imploding all the time. That being said, though, long way around the harbor to come up with this result for you guys, and that is the New York Yankees smash today.
Yeah, and also just an interesting point on that line split. You know, it's like in any sport. Sometimes the weighting of the game is heavier for one side. Clearly, it was heavier for Chase Burns in the heads-up pitching matchup yesterday afternoon, but that doesn't mean they're going to lose the game automatically. Think about like NBA games. You come out and cover the first half. It's not an automatic loss of the 48. So let the entire game tell you the story. I'm going to let Mike give you guys the official on this one. This game for me is tough. As you guys know, the Yankees have kind of bit me in the ass numerous times this year. Did nail it yesterday, getting a 3-unit spot with the Reds. The shirt is not on out of posterity and recapping for the Reds yesterday. Is a really nice take later in the show, but we'll leave it at that. Last only point for me on this one is Valdez coming off a very good start at Houston, where we suggested he would shove against his old team. He's been very, very zigzaggy in the last 8 starts. He does not back up a good start with another good start. The Yankees should be all over this guy. Mike, as you said, Ben Rice, most improved player in baseball. You heard it here. I'll say it. The guy is absolutely a gem. Take the Yankees and let's cash. Keep it moving down the line. Next game on the card, going to Tampa. Early week series here. Out of division baseball within the American League. Royals at Rays. Drew Rasmussen against Michael Wacha. Interesting game here. Royals coming in here off 3 wild weekend games against the Cardinals. Highlighted yesterday by a 12-10 loss. Thought we'd have a pitcher's duel potentially between Dustin May and Stephen Kolek. 15 runs later in the first 2 innings. Not exactly, Mike. Early week here. Will we see less runs perhaps?
I was really excited. I felt dialed into that Kansas City St. Louis. And matter of fact, the play of the day, the kick the bookie and the nuts play of the day yesterday was the St. Louis Cardinals. And sure enough, we did. I got nervous, though. It was a sweat seeing 12-10. They're going down to the Trop, though. And what do we say? The Rays at the Trop make the bookies stop because it is go time out there for them boys. And then you add Drew Rasmussen to the equation. Man, it's a dangerous looking game with them fellas out there. You know, they got Nicky Martinez and he was starting out the year pretty strong. He's kind of dipped back, and now you see this Tampa Bay Rays team at -194. So what do? You know, I do like this Rays spot. I think I'm more inclined to look to the under, though. You know, they've been suppressing runs down there in the Trop. And you got these 2 pitchers, Wacha. He hasn't had the greatest of career or greatest of runs going on right now, but I think there's 2 ways I want to look at this game. I mean, if you gave me a free play, I'd have to take the Kansas City Royal Shark. You know, as much as I like Rasmussen, I don't like $2 on anybody for that price. And on top of that, you know, the Royals on the road after a home loss, they're 9-5 in their last 14. So it doesn't necessarily strike the fear in anybody, but 46-31 in series openers. So yeah, listen, don't discount Wacha and what he can do, but I like the no-run first inning. That was a nice little -1. It was a -130. I think Caminero finds a way to go yardstick as well in this game here, but I'm going to take the under. I'm going to take the no-run first inning in this game.
Yeah, it seems like everybody's aligning under, nerfy, all sorts of stuff. Guys, you're all right. The best look in this game is under 7.5. It's one of my top looks of the entire card. This is a fantastic under tonight. As I said, you saw the Royals over the weekend. Just 3 wild ones, interleague play. It was outdoors, Kauffman Stadium. It was the last weekend of the spring. It was hot. There's blowing air. Guys, friendly reminder, the Trop is indoors in St. Petersburg. This is a complete environmental reversal. And Kansas City is actually 2-0 versus the under, road outside of the division in a series opener on a Monday or Tuesday night, if coming off of a previous home over. And I found this to be an incredible pattern. It was the same exact division. You got to go back early season. They had 2 weekend overs at home against Milwaukee, NL Central, 8-2 Saturday. Big one on a Sunday, April 5th, 8-5. They won on the road that Monday night, and guess who started the game? Michael Wacha. It was a road game against an American League opponent, 4-2 final at Cleveland. And you look at the Tampa Bay side of this pitching matchup is real heavy for Rasmussen. He's been absolutely elite at home, only 11 earned runs in 34 1/3 innings pitched. You talk about selling high on the Royals. How about selling high on Rasmussen in a season-long outlier at home against the totals? If I told you guys that Rasmussen is 5-0-1 versus the over at home, you would probably think I have some blindfold glasses on and I need to take them off. That is outrageous. How do you go 5-1 to the home over? Outliers, matinees, interleague games, backdoors, home runs in the 9th inning. This guy is waiting for a pitcher's duel at home. And final point on this, speaking of pitcher's duels, Waka and Rasmussen faced off heads up last year in the middle of June in Kansas City. 9.5 total, game final, 3-0. This line has moved down 2 full points. I have it to hit 5 runs at the absolute maximum. It is a great play. It is an under. It's going to be a boring, fast game, but we love that for an under. Mike, further thoughts?
Yeah, I'm going to add a player prop for you guys here as well. I'm going to outline the K prop for Drew Rasmussen. Meant to make a comment on this as I was talking a little bit there about some of the opportunity for this under. I think they kind of go hand in hand. And if you look at it right now, like the books don't want you to get involved. They priced the snot out of this thing here for 5.5. So when you look at Rassi, what's he done? He's gone 9. He's gone 13. I mean, the strikeouts stack up for this guy. And, they got a banged up offense, albeit you didn't see that necessarily indicative with the 12-10 game against them Cardinals. But Rasmussen over 6.5 strikeouts is priced at plus 135. So I think that's a really great way to turn this game into some positive and a couple of interesting looks to try to maybe fasten the same game parlay together too.
I agree. I see something in the range of Rays like 3-1 or 4-2 or something like that. I think Rasmussen in complete control tonight. I see the chat all over it. If you guys like it, type. I like it. Why not? Let's fire up some positive energy on a Monday. And let's keep it moving. Next game on the card, interleague baseball in Miami tonight. Marlins hosting the Texas Rangers. Phillips against Rocker. Interesting dynamic here. Mike, I'm going to throw it to you in the usual 3 or 4 seconds. But one thing I want to say before we get in there, the Miami Marlins are 8-0 in their last 8 home games. I never thought I'd see the day in that empty ballpark in Miami. They have found something. Mike, what's going on here?
Woo-wee. Should I do it? Should I drop it? Should I drop it like it's hot, you guys? Because we have the trend of the day in play. All right, I'll give it to you guys. What the hell out there? How about this one, man? Interleague opportunity. The model fits a 17-0 trend right now. 7 straight years. This spot has never lost. It is a Miami Marlins spot. And look, as far as Phillips is concerned, discount that first start. It was on the road, man. Look, he did okay. Now he comes in here and he's going to go fire it up again. Here, Rocker on the other side. Rocker can certainly get banged up, and he got banged up his last game. 7 hits, 6 earned runs, and he only went 3.1 innings. That means he was out of there before the 5th. Not a spot you want to be at if you're the Texas Rangers squad. So this is a Marlins slammer for me. Slamma, Bama, Jamma. Tell the mama I'm coming in here with these Miami Marlins, Shark. What do you got?
I don't have a rhyme for that rhyme scheme, but I do have a buy hat, and it is engaged. We are aligned on this take. Fantastic stuff, Mike. I didn't realize we had a historical trend, but we do have here, in terms of history, some really interesting stuff that I saw earlier this morning that I really love. So these teams play once a year. It's interleague. They're clearly not rivals. They played last year in Texas in late September the 19th through the 21st. And the Marlins swept the Rangers on the road 3-0. And that made my eyes light up because this is a much better version of the Marlins this year. Then I started to track back about 4 seasons and reminded myself that the Rangers actually did win the World Championship, beating the Arizona Diamondbacks in the 2023 World Series. That was pretty much the end of the story for this Rangers team. They have not been very good since that World Series championship. This is a team that is just cratering down. They suck on the road. Their run differential is terrible. And the Marlins are the polar opposite conversation. You go back about 3 years ago, right when the Rangers were getting their World Series rings, the Marlins were finishing up a 62-100 season. Horrible. And now they are over 500. And as I mentioned, they're 8-0 last 8 at home. Rocker will not travel well. This guy Phillips will bounce back. I told you guys in his previous start he was going to get rocked on the road in Philadelphia in a divisional start. He will be ready to go here. Terrible travel for the Rangers tonight. The buy hat is engaged. Mike, we're going to get a margin win here tonight. Let's cash and let's keep it moving. Next game on the card. Speaking of the Phillies are playing professional baseball tonight, and they are traveling from Sunday Night Baseball to the backyard of Washington, D.C. Foster Griffin on the bump against a pitcher to be named later. Mike, Foster Griffin on the bump. I think everybody that knows baseball likes that in 2026. What do you think about this one?
Yeah, yesterday was that kind of day. Some people had reached out to me and they're like, you have anything for us on this late game? And I had the Phillies tied to a 6-leg parlay. I was telling you a little bit about it backstage. It cashed, obviously. They smashed them. And it was one of those days yesterday where I put the over 8 out there. And I was like, the game ended 6-2, but like it just couldn't lose. And it felt pretty darn good about it. Foster Griffin seems to not be able to find a loss either. He did have a little L against San Francisco, bounced back against that Kansas City team. But look, the metrics are going to tell you it's not a Philadelphia Phillies spot. You can look at it and say they stink on the road. They don't have their pitcher. Painter's been demoted. What's going on with this Phillies team? They kill it at home and they struggle on the road. I'm going to tell you that's bullshit. They might be struggling, but this is a 162 situation. And this is a spot where I think the Philadelphia Phillies coming off a rocking, man. If you watched us live on Saturday, we were firing up the Schwarber bus, man. We had the home run. We had 2+. We had 3+ home runs on Schwarber. We kept live betting the guy to get his hits, runs, RBIs. Harper's hitting for the cycle. That creates a little momentum, and I'm willing to take that momentum at this price tag, and I don't care who's pitching because I know the one thing, you're on the road against the Nats opening up a series. You want to fade them, boys, if you're the home squad Nationals. 60% over the 12-year stint out there, 79-31 over the last 5 years as well. So I'll take a shot, not to mention you're coming back after a couple of games on the road. Take the road dog, and that's where I think this is a fade of Foster Griffin. It is too easy to jump in there and say Foster Griffin's the man. I'm going to take these Phillies at this price tag. I'll find out. I'll fuck around and find out if I have to. How about that? Philly season openers on Mondays. You play the division, Shark, 15-3. Tell me you're on the Nats.
I am. This for me, this is
I
actually.
can tell just by your stoic presence in the screen.
I don't own a buy hat yet, but I am. The buy hat is engaged. Nats, we're taking over tonight. No, but what I'm looking at here, not only is Foster Griffin his efficiency here, but really kind of an interesting dynamic that I saw, which we have discussed numerous times on this show already this year. The Nationals have been terrible at home coming off a road trip in the first game. They're 1-5 in this spot. All 6 of those games happen to be on a Friday night, which is incredibly interesting. We're almost 3 months deep into the season. This is their first Monday night home game off a road trip. So for me, that's a total environmental reversal. Friday's the weekend. You're flat. You were traveling midweek. This is coming home to start a new week in a new window, and it's a divisional series. And I do think Philadelphia, off a big win last night against the Mets at home, traveling here is a tough spot. We have talked about this over and over. Sunday Night Baseball into travel. For me, this kind of correlates to what I said last week about a game involving Noah Cameron and the Royals. This is just a number for me more than anything. This is the first time the Washington Nationals have been favored over the Phillies in more than 5 years. I can't lay off. It's my nature. I can't not take that spot. The last 7 lines in this matchup, Philadelphia was favored -220, 200, 250, 260, 175, 190, and 275, and now they're an underdog. I always make these comments to some of my friends who don't know sports betting, and I say, if Michael Jordan was an underdog in the NBA Finals, it means the books know something stinky's going on. There's a reason why Philadelphia is an underdog here. Griffin will shove. He already beat the Phillies 13-2 on the road. This is just where the Nats back the hell out of this guy. Again, nothing personal with these takes whatsoever. It's just a number for me in this spot. I think the Nats win. We will leave it at that, and we will keep it moving. Next game on the card. Big dog stuff here in Toronto tonight. Dylan Cease against Hunter Brown. Cease was supposed to start yesterday. Rain out at Wrigley. I was actually disappointed. I liked the Toronto side yesterday with Cease at the National League. Now he comes home 1 day removed against Hunter Brown. Brown, first road start of the year. Mike, any thoughts?
Yeah, I don't like the fact that there was a little change-a-roo here because, was looking forward to seeing, was it going to be SWR? I can't remember who was supposed to get the start here. So obviously everything's backed up, and whether or not that affects this series in the long haul will be, I guess time will tell here. I kind of like Houston to win this series. And it's not to say that I don't like the Jays, and I think there will be some spots to get involved with these guys. But as I was looking at this one, I just thought pitching-wise, with the comfort and the familiarity, It does look like a nice price tag to take Cease out there, but this one to me, this ain't. Foster Griffin comes in there at a -120 against TBD because it looks like it's going to be a bullpen game. This one here doesn't make sense that you got Dylan Cease with 110 strikeouts at -126. So I'd have to go Astros or nothing. But I like the Hunter Brown under angle in this one here as well. Hunter Brown's got himself 29-10 to the under in this spot as a little system play there. The total's over a 7, and he's not a big favorite over -200. So yeah, give me a spot where Hunter Brown comes out there and shuts him down. And I think that correlates with why is the Toronto Blue Jays price tag so low. So I'll take the under 7.5 in this game.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree. Honestly, tough game for me though. As I said, wanted to buy Cease yesterday. It's just one of those spots which we talk about all the time. What these guys are so, regularized. They're very robotic in their process. You want them on schedule, not off schedule. So I don't entirely know what Dylan Cease is going to do tonight. As I mentioned, Hunter Brown, first road start of the year, 3 solid home starts to begin his campaign off an injury, but first one on the road. So, Mike, what was the official on this? Under?
Yeah, I like the under 7.5 -120. I was looking at the first 5 under 3.5 at +104 as well, but I'll probably go 3/4, 1/4 from a unit breakdown because my first 5s, the total under 3.5s. I was thinking about this the other day when we were looking at some 6.5s and shit like that. It's like, it's just too low. I don't have any business fucking around with a 6.5. And we saw Julio Rodriguez, my followers got a little J-Rod bomb out there. Bottom of the 9th screws up that under 6.5 in Baltimore, Seattle, or Boston, Seattle, right? So I just, some of these numbers get low, and 3.5 feels pretty low to me in this spot here. But I do like what you said there. Give him 3 straight home starts to get him nursed back to health, and now we'll bring him on the road and see if he can toe the mound in the 6. But I'll take the under 7.5. Official play under 7.5.
Yeah, I think that's a good point about the splits too, where obviously it's indicating limited runs in the first 5, but it's just such a gamble, really. One situation gets out of hand, all of a sudden you're over and it's just done. And, with the volatility of the first inning, particularly for pitchers, again, who are off schedule, could be sketchy. Take the under. Mike likes it. I would certainly not disagree, and we will keep it moving. Next game on the card, Cubs traveling to Queens tonight, opening up the first Monday night of this summer in New York City. Big dog stuff here. Shota Imanaga at Kodai Senga. Really in terms of the pitching matchup here, talk about intrigue. 2 Japanese pitchers, basically the same exact age. They clearly know each other. Both have looked absolutely terrible for most of the season. Mike, I was thinking about this before. If there was ever a time for these guys to turn it back up, it would be against each other. What do you think?
I mean, the Mets are terrible. How can you play on these guys right now, right? You look at them against the National League. They're 1-15, I think, is the number going on out there. And I'll tell you to pump your brakes. It's 162. You got 74% of the bets. You got 90% of the cash just banging away on this Cubs team because they see Shota Imanaga. And they're like, man, Imanaga's son going to go out there and mow everybody down. But that ain't what the numbers show, you guys. And if you dig in deeper and you peel it back here, as a road favorite, 0-11, this guy just can't back the goods up. And not only is he 0-11, I gave out a live bet yesterday on the Angels. It was a very similar situation against Fade and the Athletics. This dude's margin of loss is over 3 runs. So not only do I want to get involved in the Mets business at +108, but I'll look at the Alti in this case here. It's got to be a big price tag because they are the home team, and you're not getting that 9th potential inning at bat here. But Imanaga looks to struggle. I'm going to back the bus up here. I got the +108 for the Mets. I can't believe I'm doing it, but I'm also going to look at that alternate run line here and see what we can come up with for a price tag.
Yeah, as I said, this pitching matchup for me just screams pitcher's duel. And it's kind of a contrarian pitcher's duel, too, because both pitchers have looked absolutely terrible. But you look at the total. Senga got absolutely hammered in a game at the Cubs earlier this year. It was one of those funky matinees on a Friday against Edward Cabrera. We actually talked about it on this show going back to that particular day. And I told you guys at that point, the double-digit line was very noteworthy and spoke directly to an over. It was 12-4. And Senga was abysmal in the game. Didn't make it out of the 4th inning. 6 earned runs. I believe a couple home runs in the first couple innings. Yeah, 2 home runs against. Moral of the story is take your 12-4, 10.5 over. Same season, same pitcher, same teams. All of a sudden you got 8.5. It's an under. And what's going to happen here? He's going to do what I said he was going to do a couple minutes ago. These guys know each other. This is a rivalry. If they were unfocused before, they're going to be focused here. And Imanaga seems to have at least recentered himself in the last couple starts to a degree after getting completely lit up for like 15 home runs from early May to early June. He has reined it in, albeit against the Rockies in 2 starts. So best look in this game for me is a very contrarian under. If there was ever a time for these guys to get it together, it would be here. And the number does connect. So that's my take on this one. Take under 8.5, and let's cash. Keeping it moving down the line here. Another divisional game, second of 3 divisional games on this card. NL Central Baseball, Brewers at Reds. Brandon Woodruff at Brady Singer. Interesting matchup here. Brandon Woodruff is coming off the injured list. Shoulder injury. You talk about red flags, Mike. I don't know what's going on here. What do you think?
I like the over, I think, in this game here. Yeah, it is going to be the first start back, so I always get, a little apprehensive about that. I really don't like this game. The funny thing for me, you look at Brady Singer, and so when I talk about the over, you've got a 9-0 Reds trend on the over, right? If they win the game, had less than 10 strikeouts and left more than 4 runners on base, yet that just shows that they were offensively powerful. And, I don't know if that would necessarily indicate what we saw in that game there. That was, that was that Yankees spot. What was the final 4-1, I think was the case in that game. And then you look at Brady Singer and you say, well, we should be fading Brady Singer because he's terrible. And he's not very good in he doesn't even have many pitches to work with out there. So what's the situation? Well, then you kind of dig back in and you got to look at the under with the Brewers on Mondays. They're 32-9 to the under. The Reds at home off a win are 59-28 to the under. And then Brady Singer finds himself 20-7 to the under. So as red hot as this Milwaukee Brewers staff has been, I kind of want to take a little shot with the Reds here. I don't like this game. Plus 133 for me. I would have to take a shot with the Reds or nothing. And after coming out with that double spot yesterday, the first 5 -0.5 in the full game, probably going to lean to nothing.
Yeah, so you were giving some data at the back end of that towards an under, but you opened with the over.
Yeah, because at first glance, it seems like it's an over, and you got a strong Reds trend that says over.
Yeah.
But then you peel it back, and it's like it's not really conducive to the over. Like the numbers were saying, they struck out less than 10 times. They left 4 runners on base. Well, the final score was 4-1, so it wasn't like it was an explosion of offense that's going to potentially carry over to this game. And from that intent and purpose here, the Brewers kind of looked like they struggled against Atlanta. So then I followed it up to close her off and saying, you look at Singer, he should be an over pitcher. But then, it seems like an under spot. So like I said, I take Reds or nothing.
Yeah, no, I like the over in this game, actually. I think it's a sharp take. And again, trust the number. You got this ace Woodruff. He's been injured, but he was an ace, at least going back a few years. And you got Singer here, who's coming off of a couple good starts. So I think this is where Singer kind of caps out. And you look at his last 2 starts, he pitched well on the West Coast at San Diego, and he got the Mets at home. Both out of the division, both versus lineups that do underperform situationally. So you got to go to this guy in the division. 3 divisional starts this year, got rocked in all 3. 13 1/3 innings pitched, 17 hits, 6 walks, 9 earned runs, 4 home runs against, 9-1 over, 7-6 over, 10-3 over. And I do like the buy low on the Reds lineup coming off those games, coming off the game yesterday at the Yankees. And I just think Woodruff in this spot off the IL is going to struggle. And even if he doesn't struggle, he's probably not going to go more than 5 innings. So then you get 4 innings of just a wild bullpen fest. And final point on this, Singer did actually face the Brewers 3 times last year. So we do have good data on that angle. Woodruff has not pitched against the Reds, believe it or not, since 2022. When I was handicapping this, I was like, wait, what? A divisional pitcher hasn't pitched against a team in almost 4 years? Yeah, weird scheduling and significant injuries. That's what happens. But Singer's last matchup against the Brewers was a road game last September at Freddie Peralta. 4-2 Milwaukee final under on a 7.5. Very similar stuff to what we said about some of these other totals already on this card. 4-2 under 7.5. This bumps up 2 full runs. I think you're going to see it. It's the same thing we said about some of these other games. Outdoors, first Monday of the summer, Great American Ballpark. What a name for a Great American baseball game to hit 15 runs. Let's take the over and let's cash. If you guys are taking the over, type over. If you're taking the Reds, type Reds, and we will keep it moving. Next game on the card, final divisional game of this card. Guardians White Sox opening up Monday night in the south side of Chicago. Gavin Williams at Anthony Kay. Great dynamic here, truthfully. Kay looking much better at home. Mike, what's going on here?
It's a tough one, too. A couple of these divisional spots, I went to the under. I'll keep it short and sweet with you guys here. Cleveland, they're 0-10 against divisional lefties. Total over a 6. They're going way under. I mean, they're 3.5 runs to the under in those spots. Man, oh man, you just look at this thing here. Guardians against the Central in general. I can't see it. I can't get there. I don't want to bet. I mean, Anthony Kay's been pretty freaking phenomenal. And the Guardians, I you see what they did against Houston in a travel spot on top of that. So you want to fade the White Sox against the AL Central. I want to fade the Guardians. The Guardians, when they open the series as a favorite, they perform pretty well in the first game of a series. But I'll just take my Gavin Williams shoves, Anthony Kay shoves. Take this game to go under the total. I don't think there's much more to get involved with for me than that. 7.5 plus 104.
I think that little doo-doo was a little Freudian slip as to what the Guardians are going to do tonight on the road. I have red here, guys. You guys know what alternate colors are? The alternate City Connect uniforms, red and black. The buy hat is engaged. We're taking the White Sox at plus 100. And it really is that, Mike. This is not where you want to buy the Guardians, but I think more precisely, you want to buy Anthony Kay. This guy is exhibiting incredible home versus road polarization. Go back to his last start. He got absolutely shelled on the road at the Yankees. That's about the 5th time this year he's gotten rocked on the road outside of the division. He is 4-0 at home off of these road dud efforts. He's also 7-1 at home overall and 2-0 at home in the division, totally acing these rival opponents. And the White Sox have followed suit. The White Sox are 9-1 at home in the division. And not only is that a competitive dynamic, it's the coach. This guy, Venable. I talked about him before, but I'll give him a shout again. He's an Ivy League guy. He went to Princeton. He actually played college basketball and baseball at Princeton. So you guys go back in the White Sox window here. Go back about 8 years with Tony La Russa, the most unregulated team in baseball. They have brought in, to use Mike's word, we're not talking about ace pitchers. We're talking about a manager, an assassin. This guy has them totally locked in. They're totally dominant. They gave it up yesterday in extra innings. When you get a really good coach, you don't come off of a demoralizing loss there and feel bad for yourself. You know he's in their ear right now saying, guys, we let that one get away yesterday. Like, let's fucking turn the hell up here. And they're going to catch Cleveland napping. Final point on this. Mike and I were joking about this before this morning. There are only 3 teams in the American League that have a run differential in the positive. There are 12 teams with a negative run differential. This is a very, very pedestrian league right now. And there are no teams in the American League Central that have a positive run differential. The Guardians currently lead the division at 41-37, -7. And the White Sox are 1 game back, 39-37, -4. I think it's a White Sox series, Mike. I mean, the hilarity of this league, it being so pedestrian, is absolutely hilarious.
That doesn't scream pedestrian to me. That screams competitive balance. And part of that competitive balance is because if you look at the Yankees started the season off like shit. Tampa Bay was the best team in the American League for a minute and a half. Toronto couldn't get their shit together, and Boston sucks right now. So the American League East has always been kind of the crown jewel of that conference. And mediocre, no, they're struggling to kick things off. And so the competitive balance, the parity in that American League to me is what that tight run differential shows out there. They've got really good stuff at the top end of the pitching rotation. They've got pretty bad stuff at the bottom end of the rotation, and bullpens across Major League Baseball suck right now. Then you flip over to the National League, and now you want to talk about mediocre. You've got teams like the Dodgers, the Phillies, the Brewers, and then everybody else. I mean, fuck, the Marlins are in a position in the National League where they could be a playoff contender at this point. So that to me screams mediocre, average at best. And you got the front runners just continuing. It's like when you go to you go to bet on a horse, the horse racing, the favorites, you got a 9-5 an 8-5 and, maybe, I don't know, a 6-5, and you want to try to exact the box that thing out there, and it's going to pay you like $2, even though it costs you $6 for the ticket. That's the National League right now. Whereas on the flip side, in the American League, anybody could go out there and crush it right now. So anyhow, that's kind of how I read that number, but I like the conversation because it's interesting to see looking at it from two different perspectives here. I still think Gavin Williams is due to bounce back though, man.
I don't disagree, but that's why your line is low. We've said this before. You can pitch great and still lose 2-1, and this game could be in that range. One just final point on this. I think mediocrity for me is the center point because of the run differential. And because if they were just beating up on each other, it would be one thing. They're just getting dominated outside of the division. So I think it's kind of like mediocre internal play. And then externally, they just get crushed, which means that they're weaker. And as you mentioned, the AL East usually props up the American League. The AL East is down this year. I mean, you get the Blue Jays flat off a World Series run. The Red Sox looking terrible. The Orioles doing absolutely nothing. The Rays are completely overvalued. You basically have one good team in the entire league, and it's the New York Yankees. And that's the bottom line. So it's a really weak American League this year, in my opinion. But we will keep
it. Also, when you talk about being competing, I guess one last thought before we move on there is when you talk about competing in your division and then puking up runs when you get outside of your division, you are built to play the teams in your division, right? Like you can't win the division if you're going out there to beat the New York Yankees. You have to figure out if you're the Cleveland Guardians, how do we take down the American League Central? And so, that balance between them is, I think, indicative of and supports the whole cause here. But it'll be fun to see how this game shakes out here. Who do you pick to win this series, the Guardians or the White Sox?
I think the White Sox win 2 out of 3. As I said, they're 9-1 at home in the division. 9-1. It's very dominant stuff. So yeah, my hat is engaged. Mike, let's do a video.
I was laughing because our guy Phil the Kill said, "Take the sticker off that hat." What are you going to do? Return it?
It's mint, baby. Mint.
Let's get to it, don't you guys? Appreciate everybody that's tuned in here. Just some fun conversation for a Monday. We're obviously fired up. It's a big card, and we're having a hell of a run. So take the information for what it's worth, and at the same time, if you could kindly take some support for the squad, smash that thumbs up button. We'll be right back to get you guys more MLB betting action. Shark, one more thing to add in there before we get rolling is that the fellas are going to be live for the World Cup here. They're going to do some live streaming at 1:00 for World Cup soccer at the end of the show. Check them out, you guys. Hang out if you got some time on your hands. It's Monday afternoon. Let's see if the boys are in tune with the pulse of the community. Monday afternoon, they're bringing you guys a live World Cup soccer video. Oh, well, play-by-play, I guess is what it comes down to, and all the other fun stuff that goes along with it. So make sure you stick around for razor sharp picks and World Cup of soccer, baby.
Yeah, you get a little Leo Messi at 1:00. What could be better here to open the summer? Like myself, a little Argentina. It's a great product, but we will keep it moving. And not coincidentally, we're talking championship baseball. Champions, I should say. Leo Messi trying to defend the World Cup. Next game on the card, you get your World Series defending champions Dodgers on the road at the Twins. Zebby Matthews against Eric Lauer. Mike, tough game for me. I know you like Lauer on the road. Can he do it again?
Yeah, I like the bounce back spot here. You know what's funny? So I'm really stuck with this game. I've got to take a little bit more time because I think I'm going to get there with the over 9.5. There's a lot of money coming in on it though, so it scares me a little bit. And I kind of feel like, all right, so there's the art and the science between this thing, right? The art to me says Eric Lauer, everybody knows this guy is he's a fade, we should just, he's bad. But he's been playing pretty strong lately. Zebby Matthews, he's not great on the road, but he's solid at home. So like your gut tells you this should be potentially a little bit of a pitcher's duel, but then you start looking at the science behind it here and the numbers show you it's just the opposite. It shows that this should be an overfest. And that's where I always get a little concerned here. You've got the Dodgers 10-0 to the over. If they allowed 15 or more hits, stranded less than 10 runners on base defensively, and they're averaging 13 runs a crack. The Minnesota Twins come in 10-0, non-divisional opponents when they're at home. If they used 5 or more pitchers and left 8 or more runners on base out there, they're averaging 14 runs a crack. So this is a tricky spot for me. I think I'll probably get there to the over, and it's some plus money on top of that, but gosh, that doesn't feel like the public trap of the day here. I mean, we're at 9.5. Man, I guess I got to wait and see. Does this thing catch some juice on the 9.5, or does it move back to a 9? Will ultimately determine here. But early look, if you gave me the free play, I'd take you over 9.5.
Yeah, I agree. I think the over would be the best look in this game. Lauer has caught some wins, as we said, on the road. Obviously, only pitching limited time with the Dodgers, but he has been an over pitcher on the road. I think Matthews will get hit. I think the Dodgers will bounce back. They clearly just were not focused yesterday, taking really a horrible loss to the Orioles, 12-1. Not a lot of runs, getting on a plane. Now they come out here, they will be angry. I'm talking about this guy, Venable, Ivy League guy coaching the White Sox. Dave Roberts is one of the best managers in baseball. He'll have these guys jacked up and ready to go. I think the Dodgers probably get the dub. I think it's a chalk line, but I do think they probably get the dub. And I do like the over, and we will keep it moving. Next game on the card, Diamondbacks Cardinals in St. Louis tonight. Merrill Kelly at Andre Palante. Nice little Monday night opener here, Mike. I have a shirt on color-wise here that speaks to something. What do you think about this game?
It speaks to nothing. Both these teams wear red.
Do they though? I don't know. They wear there's purple and black and some turquoise.
Yeah, they do have the City Connect jerseys. They're fire for the old snakes out there. And I don't know. I was looking at this game and I just thought, Palante, Reds, Cardinals rather. Man, they've been doing pretty well right now. This guy's not the greatest at home. His ERA is a little bit more bloated. We saw the Cardinals, or I'm sorry, the Diamond. This is a tongue twister because you got the Arizona Cardinals. Isn't that we're talking about NFL? Is the NFL around the corner here? What's going on? But I don't know. I would have to lean to the Cardinals. I just don't like this price either. You can see like I'm not as excited about some of the second half of this card just because, again, you've got to pay up for Palante and the St. Louis Cardinals. They looked good yesterday, but frankly, they were getting handled by Kansas City in that series. So they were avoiding the sweep. And then as you kind of drill it down, maybe runs are the expectation here. The Diamondbacks come into this thing 14-0, totals less than 11. Teams averaging more than 7.85 hits after a home game out there. They travel incredibly well when the team gets hot. And it's like they get on the road. They're excited to be part of a new city. I just couldn't get there. I don't have anything official for this game yet.
I do. The buy hat is engaged. Look at how beautiful that is. We got black, red. I mean, it must be the first day of the summer. It's all colliding together. And this is an absolutely top-level handicap for me. I'm just reposting now so the people who are not watching can get alongside this great play. 1 second, guys. Let the energy build. Mike said to me when we started the show, he likes crescendo. Here's your crescendo. I can't type. That's fine. Anyway, let's continue this one. All right, guys, we're taking Cardinals. Mike said he doesn't like the price. Mike, I'm taking the run line. I think this is a blowout. You can get -1.5 at plus 150. What you're looking at here is actually great data. This is the first matchup of the year between these teams. They're playing 2 series. They play in Arizona in late July, a total of 7 games. So you have really more than just your average one-off series between out-of-division opponents. Go back to last year, same story, 6 games. The home team was 6-0. And I think that continues. I think St. Louis doesn't like traveling to the desert. And I think the Diamondbacks don't like traveling to the center of the country, to which is truly one of the best fan bases in the entire sport in St. Louis. And you really zoom in on this matchup. I've been talking about Merrill Kelly now for weeks. This guy is just done. It's nothing personal. It's just a fact. He's a journeyman. He didn't make his major league debut until his late 20s. He's 37. Outside of a small cluster midseason against the Mets, the Rockies, and 2 starts against the Giants, he has gotten absolutely rocked in basically every start. Not only that, this is an incredible pattern that I saw this morning. He's coming off a home start last Tuesday where he gave up 6 earned runs on 11 hits and 2 home runs against the Angels. Notice what that is. Tuesday home start, interleague play against an American League team. The only other time this year he faced an American League team at home, it was on a Tuesday night. It was the White Sox. He gave up 8 earned runs, 3 home runs on 10 hits, and lost 11-5. The following Tuesday night, he traveled to a road game at the NL Central and got absolutely hammered at the Brewers in this line range 13-2. I think the Cardinals are going to turn the hell up on Kelly. Palante is actually 2-0 at home this year versus NL opponents outside of the division. Most of his home struggles have actually come against American League opponents. And you zoom into the matchup here. Arizona is 0-3 in series openers, road at National League out-of-division opponents on Eastern or Central time. And St. Louis is 6-1 in home openers the entire year. This is an all boxes check spot. And the absolute final point on this, which you guys know I love, run differential. The Cardinals are sitting +4 on the campaign, slightly over 500. The Diamondbacks are over 500, 39-38, with a -25 run differential. If there was ever going to be a 5-unit play for me, it would be this. My hat is engaged. Take the Cardinals and let's cash. My
5 units? What does that mean?
5 units,
Back
$5 grand. Cash
I
money.
would say this though, with regards to not wanting to go to the middle of the country, they are 8-2 in the road dog roll against the American League Central. So this will be a fun one. Looking forward to talking about this one.
American League or National
League? St. Louis Cardinals, huh?
American League or National League?
What did I say?
You said American League.
AL Central.
This is NL.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay. Just check it.
Well, just in terms of the middle of the country, they don't mind going to Midwest.
0-3 in series openers, road at National League out of division.
They're a bad series opening team. Whether they're home or road, they do stink at opening a series. And that's probably because of this bozo here, Merrill Kelly, right? I mean, your one pitcher versus our one pitcher. Our one pitcher sucks. Your one pitcher is better. Then that makes it tough to be a Diamondbacks fan in any way, shape, or form.
No, completely agree. And you know, just giving some emphasis to that Kelly point, when you aren't overpowering as a pitcher, and you really had to grind through the minor leagues for a while. I believe he might have pitched over in Korea as well, going back to the 2000 teens. But he's just at the end of his run. And you see it. He doesn't overpower. He's just in the middle of the plate. And these lineups just really tee off on him. I don't think – honestly, I think this is really kind of the end of his run as a pitcher. But, again, not personal, just cash. As I said, if you guys want to put some cash on this, please do. $5,000 for me. Let's cash. Next game on the card. Keeping it moving here. Red Sox at Rockies. You talk about series that nobody's watching a movie about, it would be this. Red Sox running one of the worst campaigns in the last 20 years. The Rockies looking slightly better. Mike, what's going on here?
Under. That's it. Cap over.
Under? Okay.
Look,
is it over, or are you going to elaborate?
I'll give you a little bit extra on there, too. I'll give you a little sprinkle on top here. I know you like to have your lunch and then you want a little dessert. I'll give you a little dessert on that too. Number one under ballpark, it seems right now. Well, the number one under ballpark is in Atlanta. We're going to talk about this team here too. But the reality for me is you look at Boston, their bats stink. You look at the Rockies, they do play well at home, but I could see myself getting to a Rockies situation. But when you look at a -162, it does scare me a little bit. Fade the Red Sox in the series opener. You're 61-35 over the last years. And the Rockies against lefties, they've been playing pretty well, but I just think this is one of them spots where you could get to the under. It just continues to be under 11.5. So you're going to make it big numbers. I'm going to take advantage of it here, especially when we're sitting in Colorado. 11.5 plus 104 game time.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to the home team here. I was actually looking at a buy hat. Guys, get ready. I think we might have a Rockies hat developing here next week. But taking the Rockies at plus 117, and this is just a Rockies spot. You know, you talk about Boston being on the road. The narrative is, and it's not only a narrative, it's actually the data. They've been much better on the road this year. They're 500, 19-19. But I think this spot tonight is not their spot. They're coming off of 3 games in Seattle where they really featured like the top end of their rotation. They were all pitchers duels. They won 2 out of 3. Every game felt like a playoff game. So now you get on a plane. You travel to Colorado for the first Monday of the summer. It's going to be hot. The pitchers are going to be really kind of in a grueling environment on the mound. And it's just a letdown series. Then you go to the numbers. And this is kind of what I said about the Washington series against Philadelphia. Last year, Boston swept the Rockies at home in early July. And the final scores in those games were 9-3, 10-2, and 10-2. You talk about the books having a grip on the line. Boston was favored minus 250, minus 290, and minus 335. And the last time Boston was a favorite under minus 150 at Colorado, you got to go back 2 seasons. They lost the game 20-7 with Nick Pivetta on the bump at Cal Quantrill. If Boston's laying under 150 at the Rockies, they could get absolutely slaughtered in this game. And Ryan Feltner is 1-0 at home against the American League. Did win by margin. 2-run win. Also on a Monday night against the Astros back in April. Great spot here for the Rockies. Mike likes the under. I like the Rockies. Take them and let's cash. Keeping it moving down the line here. A couple more games here. Late night baseball out west. Orioles at Angels. Kyle Bradish at San Aldegari. Yes, he is from Italy, Verona to be exact. Kyle Bradish on the bump road. Mike, tough game for me. What do you think?
Yeah, I was with you there too. I'll go back to the over. You know, the old standard wheel for me when it comes to this Los Angeles Angels team here. Baltimore 18-0 to the over when they're playing a non-divisional favorite. If they walked 6 or more times the previous game, they're smoking the number. They're smoking the number to the tune of almost 5 runs a game on the total. So they can't quite index this game properly from a books perspective. And yeah, Bradish speaks to me to be an over. You know, you look at Bradish, nothing about that guy says, oh, I'm going to go out there and shove. Then you look on the other side of things here, and from an Angels perspective, you got a little magic up their hats as well here. You've got the Angels are 11-0 to the over in the dog roll. And I think it's a good little system play. They're averaging an over spot by over 5 runs a clip. So I'm going to jump in. I'm going to follow the old systems here with our intersecting zeros. We'll take the over 8.5. We'll take this thing early. You got 70% of the bets, 93% of the cash. We are seeing some of those 9s out there. So give me the over. I'd lean to the Angels too, by the way.
Yeah, truthfully, I have nothing in this game. I think Bradish could pitch well. He could not. It's just a sketch spot. And Mike, you're talking about it. You know, you talk about the Angels. We just mentioned the Dodgers played the Orioles over the weekend. Back-to-back road series for the Orioles out in Southern California. You talk about traps that oftentimes do not exist in baseball. I think it exists here. You just kick the Dodgers' ass 12-1. Now you got to stay out here and play the Angels. Give me a break. Yeah, I would lean towards the Angels, but don't love the game. Last game on the card, staying out west, Braves-Padres. National game, ESPN. Get ready for a nice one tonight. Grant Holmes at Michael King. Interesting dynamic here. You know, as we said, ESPN National, clearly everybody thinks it's going to be a playoff-style game. Let the line tell you the story. Basically a pick 'em, low total. Like, what's going on here?
Yeah, I like to get the 2 spots in this game here. You know, we saw Atlanta probably took their eye off the prize a little bit there with them Brewers. And you and I were texting each other yesterday and said, yeah, the Brewers finally just said, screw it. And they went out there and smacked them around a little bit. So good on them here. But the Padres, bullpen wise, that hasn't changed. I haven't changed my opinion with regards to their bullpen. One of the best, if not 1A in the game right now. The Padres are an under squad as well. They're 10-1 to the under after a non-conference game, after an American League opponent. So for whatever reason, when they switch gears, they do. Maybe it's because those bats aren't familiar with the pitching opponents out there, but I like it. I like the under in this case. Also, you know, as far as the Braves are concerned in this thing, I'd have to fade them. I don't like the price tag in this situation. I know it's a cheap price, and I was initially thinking like, man, I can get behind the best bats in baseball, and I can get him at plus 100. But I don't know. Upon further review, I really like this under 7.5. And then I was kind of looking at it saying, you know what, if I can fade the Braves and take the home squad with that even money. I know they're coming off the big series there this past weekend, and they had the naval-based challenge, and everyone was jacked up and feeling good about it. But I think these guys, you know, have a good little opportunity to sneak in here early in the series and take down the Braves. Padres at home, they are 78-49, but have been struggling a little bit out of there as well. So give me the under 7.5 in this spot as well. And please, baby Jesus, please, blonde-haired, little infant baby Jesus, please let this be an under day today for us in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, Mike said they're 78-49. Make it 79-49. I'm giving you guys the Padres in this game. I think this is a Padres spot without question. First of all, you look at Atlanta. They're traveling cross country without a day off. They had to play Milwaukee in 3 really grueling, highly competitive playoff style games this weekend. got beat yesterday, but it doesn't help the travel. You got to take that and get on a plane. Now you travel off body time. They're going to still be on Eastern time. So this is really a 10 o'clock start. It's just a fatigue position. I don't care if you take a nap in the afternoon or whatever. It's just not on your normal schedule. And you look at Grant Holmes on the road, he's actually been really poor in the last month and a half traveling on the road. He did catch a win at Colorado, 8-6. Key point, though, he was favored by about 2-1, not this number. So despite his struggles, the books thought he'd win. He wasn't very good in the game. 5 earned runs, 2.0 whip in 5 innings pitched. Slightly later on, more recently at Cincinnati, again, he caught a win as a significant favorite, but he wasn't very good. 7 hits, a walk, 2 home runs against, 3 earned runs and 4 2/3. And his last start on the road took a loss at the White Sox, totally labored, didn't make it out of the 4th inning, approaching 70 pitches, another home run against, 3 earned runs. So this guy is not traveling, and you're not going to say that this is, and the conversation, I should say, is polar opposite for Michael King. Michael King is a home pitcher. Guys, got to remember, he was the blue chip prospect dealt from the Yankees to the Padres in the Juan Soto trade. So, guys, go back 5 years. If Soto was on the block and they wanted King, it's because he is a king on the bump. And you talk about travel for this guy. He's coming off a game at St. Louis. This is the 3rd time this year he's traveling from an out-of-division game at the National League Central. He pitched well at Pittsburgh in early April. He came home off a Central game. He pitched absolutely great against the Mariners and Brian Wu. 4-1 win, only 1 earned run. At Milwaukee, NL Central came home against the Dodgers, pitched his best game of the year, beat the Dodgers 1-0, 0 earned runs in 7 innings pitched. Again, we don't know why these guys do what they do. It's clearly psychological. But when King plays a road game in the center of the country and comes home for a primetime game against a big-time opponent and pitching matchup, he shoves. He will shove. That's why the line is low. Holmes will struggle. I see Padres somewhere in the range of 5-1, 5-2, 4-2, something like that. Mike, I know you like it too. You're on the Padres, right?
Yeah, man. Listen, I'll give you guys a great one here. You want to talk about, I don't know if there's familiarity or lack thereof here, but the Braves and Padres, when the Padres are home for game 1 of a series against the Braves, totals under an 8. This situation, 14-0, be the Padres in those spots. So, yeah, get a great price tag on the Padres there. I think that'll end up being part of the old parlay. It seems like we got a nice little parlay brewing here. Just based on some of our collabs, I think we've got a nice little spot to get after it. So, man, oh man, Shark. Hard to believe. 58 minutes here, full Major League Baseball slate. You want to talk some best bets?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's go. I'll kick it off. I'll go with the Yankees with you guys there, minus 122. I'm going to take the Miami Marlins minus 122. I'm going to take the New York Mets plus 108. I'll take the Angels over 8.5 as well. That's 4. That's pretty good. I'm going to go with Drew Rasmussen. I'm going to take that alternate K prop as well. Over 6.5 is plus 135. And I could give out a whole bunch more, Shark, but I'll defer to you, my friend.
All right, we're going to go with some totals. Really connecting with your Rasmussen comment, and I detailed it in the beginning of the show. We're taking the under in the game in Tampa Bay tonight, under 7.5, minus 113. Very similar conversation tonight in Queens, as I said. You want to really center on this competitive dynamic between Senga and Imanaga. You're going to see them both really more locked in than you've seen in recent times. Under 8.5, plus 108. Couple money line plays for you guys. Let me just go down the list here real quick. The Cardinals, the buy hat is engaged. We're going to give you guys both the run line and the money line. 2 plays there. Really is a big dog spot for me. Money line minus 133. Run line plus 150. Rockies plus 117. And the late night special, Padres plus 100.
Yeah, I was going to have the Padres as part of our parlay as well. I like the Padres spot. We like Miami together. We agreed with that one. And how about we go?
Why don't we do the over in the Reds game?
Okay.
All right, so what's that? We have 3 legs there?
Yeah, San Diego, Miami, and Cincinnati over 9.5.
Beautiful. Love it.
Sweet. Let me just
Anyway.
double check. Let me just double check this Cardinals or this. I think it was 9.5, right? With that Cincinnati game. I don't want to quote the wrong line here and come back and celebrate a victory that nobody else could get. We'll make it a 9 because the over 9.5 is plus 104. So we'll make that Cincinnati game a 9. We'll do San Diego, Miami, Cincinnati Shark over 9 runs there. That is it, you guys. Appreciate everybody that's tuned in here. We're doing what we do, and we're doing it with you here on the Sports Money Network. 12 p.m. with Bases Loaded, man. This show has been in Wago. Make sure you guys tune in on a regular basis. Tell your friends. That's what we ask, is you guys make some comments out there. I will say this. We are starting a contest. Stay tuned. I'll have the details out shortly, and it's going to be a lot of fun, similar to last year with a little bit of a different twist to it. And it's all going to be a good time here to help us get through these dog days and enjoy some MLB baseball here. Bases Loaded, Shark. Tell them what's up.
Yeah, you're talking about it. As I said, first day of summer or first Monday of summer, the dog days. When Mike and I were doing football in the fall, we started talking about this. I said, when we're in the summer and there's not a lot going on, it's going to be amazing to be doing this show because we're just juicing up the energy, and we wouldn't have it any other way. This is really right where we all want to be, and we appreciate you guys in the chat hanging out with us, always Monday through Friday at 12 o'clock. We will be back, of course, tomorrow for 15 games. We got 2 series openers tomorrow. I just looked it up. We got the Mariners at the Pirates, and we got the A's opening up a series out west against the San Francisco Giants. So great stuff tomorrow and great stuff today. And as always, guys, please manage your bankroll so you can see the light of day tomorrow. We're in a great data-abundant window of MLB baseball. Still about 4 full months to go, and it is an opportunity to dominate. That's it for this one. MLB Bases Loaded, the first Monday of the summer, June 22nd, 2026. For Mike, I'm the Shark. Stay fast, stay strong, stay disciplined, and let's dominate.
I'm like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it, fuse like a magnet. Lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine.